All right, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm getting reports that that missing kids thing up there in Canada, Jack and Lily, that there might be reports of them picking up the Darin, the was it the stepdad or something? Let's take a look. There's a video out real quick. It's saying 7 minutes ago, and this is a new video put out yesterday. 7 minutes ago, RCMP to arrest Darin Geedes in missing kids case. Let's see if we can watch a little of this real quick. Let me post this channel in chat. You know, there was something fishy from the beginning of that case, right? And then the stories that came out that the clothes were found on the side of the road and certain things were made and the scream and you know, it was just really crazy stuff.
Audio, images, screenshots, GPS pings, and all of it, according to one source close to the investigation, pointed to a deliberate effort to mislead. We believe someone wanted to control the narrative, the source said. And who better to do that than someone who's been positioning himself as the voice of truth from day one? The recordings, we're told, contain unedited clips of Darin Geddes before he ever posted.
Wow. Darren Geddes. And that's almost like the Serengetis, right? Darren Geddes. All right, I posted it in chat, this guy's channel. I'm going to post it here. But yeah, something seemed really weird, you know, about this case. And all the stories that they came up with, it's kind of crazy.
His now famous rants. In one chilling clip, he's heard practicing what sounds like a rehearsed story ***, not once but multiple times. He changes the tone. He tries out different phrases. And in one version he says something investigators flagged immediately. If people believe I saw them that night, they'll stop looking elsewhere. Asterisk. That sentence alone sparked an
That's pretty weird. You know, he did change his story a lot, right? He wanted to be the center of the attention and then crying. That whole video he did where they were interviewing him or whatever, and he starts crying and he's put, but you notice no tears, right? No tears at all coming from his eyes, but it looked like he was crying, right? Sounded like he was crying, but you know, no tears coming from his eyes. So yeah, very fishy. And we'll have to keep up on this and see where this goes. I mean, geez, you know, these people do any if they can make a
internal
dollar.
escalation. According to a second insider, multiple RCMP officers from separate jurisdictions were pulled in for an urgent task force meeting 2 days ago. Their objective? To verify where Darin really was on the night of June 3rd, the night Lily and Jack disappeared. Publicly, Darin has claimed he was out of province. But cell tower data, newly leaked in the investigation, reportedly places him just 20 minutes away from the last known sighting of the children. And here's the kicker. The same data shows he was parked in that area for over 45 minutes. No calls, no messages.
Oh wow. So they got data that his whole story was a bunch of crap. Wow. Well, we said it on this channel when this case first came out. It seems kind of crazy. Is it possible the kids were trafficked or something, or being they found the clothes on the side of the road or whatever they were trying to say? Which, yeah, that would make sense, right? They're trying to change the look of the kids, whatever, get rid of the old clothes or cut their hair, dye their hair, whatever. So yeah, but now they're saying that his whole thing was a bunch of crap. His whole story was a bunch of crap. He was by the now the phone data's come out, and he was right around the kids the whole time, and it's pretty crazy, right? It's pretty crazy. We're just checking out this video, Deb, that you sent. Right, they're saying that now his phone data and everything. He was around the kids, not 20 minutes away from them, if that, and he was around them. So yeah, it's just crazy, crazy and stuff. Hey, and then the neighbor that lived in the house, said that she heard a scream, but it wasn't a scream. That one of the kids normally did that, to when they were happy or whatever. So the whole thing seemed kind of fishy. Let's see what Debbie's saying. He was less than that night before. Yeah. So it's kind of crazy.
Messages, no movements. Just waiting. When the RCMP tried to cross-check his story with travel records, they found no flight, no hotel, and no witness confirming he ever left town. But that's not even the
Whoa.
most damning part. In part 2, we'll reveal the internal RCMP memo that suggests someone was helping Darin avoid being tracked. An insider.
Oh, so he had help. He had help, huh? Huh? They were trying to keep him from being tracked or whatever. Wow. 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 What is wrong with these people? They'll kill their own kids for $1. We're hoping the kids are still alive, and this was a money grab, right? To a scam to collect money, right? What do you think, Deb? What are you thinking? We don't know that yet. Yeah, we don't know if the kids are alive or not. Hopefully they are, and this was just a money thing, or maybe disgruntled marriage thing because she was them weren't his kids. They were some other guy's kids, and he was a known robber, bank robber or something. So they thought it was him. They thought it was just the biological father. But now they're saying no, it's just Steve Darin and everything. Yeah, it seemed weird because, like I said, when he did that video and he was crying and everything, it didn't look like he was really crying, right? I don't know. Uh, But it just might be a nut job. Well, maybe. You might be right there, Deb. Pretty crazy.
Plus, we'll uncover the bizarre late-night call Getty's made to a private number linked to a former RCMP contractor. Things are unraveling quickly.
Whoa.
And if even half of this holds up, we may be just hours away from Canada's most shocking arrest of the decade. It started with a name. Buried deep inside that anonymous email was a reference RCMP weren't expecting. Former technical consultant who once worked with law enforcement on signal encryption. He hasn't been seen in years. But guess who called his number at 2:11 a.m., just 1 week after Lily and Jack vanished? Darin Geddes. RCMP traced the call. It lasted 7 minutes and 18 seconds. No voicemails. No texts. Just a single, unexplained connection. And when officers asked Darin about it during a friendly inquiry weeks later, he denied even knowing the man. When shown partial call logs, he claimed it was a wrong number. But the full logs, which we've now confirmed through 2 independent sources, show a troubling pattern. That number appears 5 more times in the weeks.
Oh, 5 more times he was calling. So he was calling somebody trying to get some help, maybe, or something, or maybe that someone he was calling uh, were the people that had the kids, possession of the kids, or whatever. This is bad stuff and bad drugs going on there in Canada. Yeah, they're going crazy up there in Canada. I bet you them county Mounties up there, or the Canadian Mounties, are pissed off. Wow, just crazy, crazy. And you know what? Are they parents, or are the kids different? Do they have different parents? Because they're not. Do they look the same to you, like brother and sister? I don't know. Was one his Darren's kid, and one the bank robber's kid? Yep, my nephew's mom is in Canada. Yeah, it's pretty crazy up there. Beautiful country. Some of the most beautiful country, but the mosquitoes will eat you alive, right down to the bone. But it's beautiful country up there. The only thing we can hope is this was a money grab, that the kids are okay, or it was a grudge against the other parent, the other father or the mother, and this Darren dude might have taken the kids and tried to pull a money grab, or maybe the mother was involved too. It was some kind of a money grab, right? We've seen that in a lot of cases where the first thing, they're not worried about finding their kids. The first thing they're ready, or the first thing that goes through their heads is, I need to get a cash app, and I need to get on YouTube, and money will come in. To me, that seems like what's going on lately. They're not worried about. They're not listening to the authorities. Right? Stay off the internet. It's a good chance your kid was kidnapped, and they might be watching. The same thing they tried to tell the Ramseys in the Ramsey case. Uh, don't go nowhere. It's an open investigation, and we might be seeing that uh, here, where maybe the county Mountie, or a Canadian Mounties told these people, keep your mouth shut. You know, it's an ongoing case, and here they are on the internet and whatever, and asking for help or whatever, when it ain't normal. Back in the day, they would put a bulletin out, or show your face or whatever on the news or whatever, and that was it. The parents really didn't get involved. The parents back in the days when I was growing up, they let the police handle it. If the police told them to keep their mouths quiet because they wanted to investigate, that's pretty much what the parents did back then. Uh, Back when I was growing up, right? But then again, you didn't have internet, you didn't have cell phones, you didn't have that kind of stuff. Back in the day, if there was a kidnapping or a murder, they would always tell the family, please, we're sorry for your loss, but please, keep a lid on it, because we're going to be looking at things, right? Don't leave nowhere, and don't, not that you're a suspect, but we just in case we find something, uh, or we might have questions for you, you know, questions about the missing person or whatever, and you might be able to help us, right? So, but today, the first thing on their minds is internet. They're going to make that dollar. They're going to make the money, which is sad. But I can understand they're missing their children, and they want help to find them. Some of these parents are probably very sincere, and money is the last thing on their mind. But some are totally different. If they can see a way to make a dollar, they'll use their own kid. As heartbreaking as it is, Yeah, we've seen that in numerous cases. Let's see what Debbie said. I don't think it was a money grab. No way. So you think maybe the kids are passed away? Or do you think there was a battle within the family of the two fathers, right? And who suffers? The kids. They never asked for money. I'm not sure. I think they did, Debbie, ask for help or something, or people were starting to send in donations. I think people were sending, they didn't ask, but people were sending in stuff or whatever. I might be wrong on that, but there is only one dad. Uh, and that's the bank robbers' kids. So is it the bank robbers' kids or Darren's kids? No, they didn't get anything. Well, maybe then. They're saying, why are they looking at Darren though? Probably because he lied about the phone data and his stories weren't adding up. So the kids are not Darren's. They're the other guy's kids that was a bank robber or something, and they thought in the beginning of this case that it was some kind of scam with the or the other father took the kids or something. Darren isn't the dad. Oh, all right. Yeah, there could be jealousy there, right? Maybe against the father, or maybe even against the mother or something, or could be a jealousy, right? Hmm, maybe a grudge, maybe maybe she don't love him as much as the fathers of of her kids, right? Maybe that's what he's pissed off about, right? Right? Maybe. Johnny, I sent you all this stuff here. Let me check though. No, you sent me something new. A woman with glasses on. I think she is secretly. You think the family members are? Yeah, they might be. I'll go back here in a minute, Debbie, and check it. You sent me a whole bunch of stuff. I seen it, but I think I'm reading the wrong one, Deb. Hold on. And no, Darren is probably just a dang nut job. Ain't they all? Ain't they all? Complete crazy nut jobs. Let me see. I sent this a week ago. Johnny ain't got time for facts. Oh, here comes Valdez on that Pony Bologna Express. Well, don't get upset there, Valdez. We're on the case. But what am I seeing here in this video? I'm seeing a grieving mother, but I don't know. I'm not seeing tears running down her face. I don't know. It seems kind of this whole thing
Following
seems
the
kind of
disappearance.
crazy.
And one of those calls was placed from a burner phone. This is
Burner
where things
phone,
started to spiral.
a
RCMP analysts
burner
began to
phone.
suspect that Geddes may have had help avoiding surveillance. Someone who understood how law enforcement tracks signals, scrubs metadata, and manipulates digital trails.
Oh,
If
them
true, it
dirty
means Darren's
dogs.
entire public persona, the concerned citizen, the truth seeker, the only one asking questions, may have been carefully constructed to buy him time. Time to disappear, destroy, or distort evidence. One officer close to the case said flatly, asterisk, there's a difference between being loud online and being involved offline. And right now Darren's starting to look like both. Asterisk. So what
Oh,
about the children? Here's where it gets even darker.
wow.
Sources say Geddes may have been in direct contact with someone close to the Sullivan family. Not recently, but before.
Sullivans. Them bloody bastards are everywhere. All right, let me see what Debbie's saying here. Johnny, this dude has nothing to do with this family. Who, the Sullivans? Or what family? I don't know what she's talking about. I have no clue what she's talking about. You can't control how someone feels. Other break down. Some stands stoic. Well, I don't know. I don't know. Some do, but some are good actors, Debbie. Some are good actors. Well, as President Trump said, these are bad actors. I guess I don't know. Very well could be. I got a headache. Well, it's uh, it's a headache. So take a couple aspirin and call me in the morning. But this is fishy, right? Because now they got him. They got him saying stuff online that ain't adding up, and now they got him offline behind the scenes, and phone data of him calling people, and maybe a connection with the Sullivans. And this is just. Does it get any more crazier than this? Probably not. But we're going to do our dang best.
The kids vanished. It was an online exchange, a comment thread, innocent at first, but over time it escalated. Geddes allegedly began asking unusual questions about the kids' routines, school hours, even their favorite hangout spots. The family friend, who has not been named for safety reasons, says she felt uneasy, but thought nothing of it at the time. Darin had built a public following. He seemed trustworthy. Curious, maybe too curious, but not dangerous. Now, that same friend is working with investigators, providing screenshots and chat backups that may confirm he was trying to map out the children's lives weeks in advance. That brings us to the RCMP's internal memo. Sources say it was marked highly restricted.
Wow. Can it get any more crazier than that? This needs Dr. G. Oh, well, we all know what that is, girl. I'm here. I'll support you with that. Johnny, theories are more entertaining. Well, by the time I'm done with this, Bigfoot would have kidnapped them and then ended up raising them from just children, turning them into wild feral kids. But they just don't let me run stuff anymore up there in Canada. I wish they did. They're kind of boring up there. Yeah, it's just, hold on a minute, folks. I gotta throw my pizza in the oven. All right, I'm back. I heard something beeping in the background. I forgot I turned the oven on and it preheated and it was done. All right, so where are we at? Oh, we're at here up here in Canada. It's gone crazy. Naples have gone crazy. It's spreading all over. The madness is spreading all over the earth. Yeah, I'm making some pizza, Debbie. So I have always loved bacon and ham and pineapple, but I recently added jalapenos. Oh, I love jalapenos. I got some in the fridge. I'll probably top the pizza with them with some Parmigiano, salt, pepper, and crushed red pepper. All right, let me see where we're at here. Oh, here comes Sophia. Sophie,
Sent to a select group of senior officers just 48
lay
hours
down,
ago.
baby.
The subject line? Involvement of online entity, suspected intent to misdirect and conceal. The memo lays out a chilling theory. That Darin Geddes was never just reacting *** to the case. He may have been orchestrating it. The motive? Nobody knows for sure. But the memo lists potential indicators. Deliberate misdirection. Obsession with control over the public narrative. And possible psychological instability, worsened by social media obsession. Investigators believe that by constantly inserting himself into the spotlight, by making himself the loudest voice, Darin may have been trying to hide in plain sight. He became the distraction, one officer said, and that may have been the whole point. But
This sounds like to me they're onto his ass, right? When their police are talking, saying that he's a distraction, a diversion, or something, then I'd imagine they must have something where they're really looking at him. Let me see what Debbie is saying. I love those anchovies, them fiery salt or them hairy salty things. Oh my God, you're so sick, woman. You must be sick. You must have a fever if you're eating anchovies. Ugh, anchovies. I mean, I'll eat them if I have. Not really. I probably wouldn't. They're supposed to be really good for you, but very salty and I don't know.
the clock is ticking now. Because behind closed doors, the RCMP strategy is shifting. They've gone from gathering data to preparing charges. And not just for misleading investigators. We'll expose the final piece of the puzzle. An intercepted voice message, sent from Darin's private account, where he allegedly makes a disturbing confession, was encrypted, hidden behind layers. But now it's in RCMP hands.
Yeah, wasn't
And
he
once
in
it's
the tap out
verified,
or something?
the man known for
fighting or
spreading
something like
truth
that?
online may finally face the truth himself. There's one thing about digital footprints. You can delete a post, but the internet never forgets. And Darin Geddes is learning that the hard way. According to two separate sources inside the RCMP's digital forensics team, the voice message in question came from an encrypted messaging app. One Darin believed was untraceable. He was wrong. Using advanced decryption tools, investigators recovered a 42-second audio clip sent to an unnamed contact. The full transcript has not been made public, but what we've confirmed is this. Darin allegedly references the children by name. He also uses a phrase that reportedly sent chills through the entire task force. I told you, once they're gone it gets quiet. Too quiet. It's not what he said. It's how he said it. One senior official, speaking off record, described the tone as calculated, almost smug.
What the heck did he mean by that? Once they're gone, it gets quiet. What the heck is that all about? Right? He said, I told you, once they're gone, it gets quiet. The heck? Christopher, no, not today. I swallow them and eat my pizza. She's talking about her anchovies. I want John's theory on Summer Wells. Wow. That whole thing is, we're seeing the same thing where people, data, right? Data is what gave them up. Candace and everything, sending a message to Don, right? It's done. It's just, it'll never, you can never beat the system because the system is designed to spy on you. So, yeah, it's pretty crazy. And we'll get into that Summerwell stuff later.
Like someone who felt untouchable. But that arrogance may be what finally brought him down. Shortly after the message was decrypted, RCMP obtained legal clearance to access Darin's cloud backups. What they found, according to a new internal report, includes deleted files, chat archives, and GPS logs that show he was in areas far closer to the last known Sullivan locations than he's ever admitted publicly. In fact, one specific coordinate, pinned at 12:47 a.m. on June 4th, shows Geddes parked near a back road less than 4 kilometers from the Sullivan family cottage. And that location, it wasn't on any map. It was private land, fenced off. No reason for anyone to be there, unless they knew something. But the real breaking point came just 2 nights ago. A neighbor came forward, someone who lived just a few blocks from where Geddes had been staying. She told police she often saw Darin leaving late at night, sometimes carrying duffel bags, sometimes with mud on his boots, always looking around like he didn't want to be seen. At first she dismissed it. She thought he was just another troubled guy dealing with stress. But after watching one of his live videos online, she recognized the exact shirt he wore in her driveway, the same night the Sullivan children were officially declared missing. She reported it. And now, her statement is part of an emergency case file RCMP submitted this morning. From that point, things moved fast. An unmarked vehicle was spotted near Getty's residence at 6:32 a.m. today. Shortly after, a forensic team entered the...
No, well, they got his butt. Oh, man, they probably got him on camera, on YouTube, on social media, things not adding up. And then they dipped into his phone records and, yeah, it probably ain't looking good. What was it? Was it, is it a disgruntled thing between the real biological father and Darin, right? Or was it something against the mother where maybe something happened? Maybe, we can only hope the kids are alive. And this was some kind of a crazy love, stupid mistake, or, a hostage thing, right? If not, I would say the kids, there's a good chance, he was walking around with duffel bags. Now, were their bodies, these are small kids, how many duffel bags? We know there was two kids. How many duffel bags was he seen with? Or was it a transaction uh, for selling the kids? And he walks away with the money, right? And they think the kids are missing, or maybe the real biological father did something with them, the mother. But yeah, you don't know. I would say let them investigate, and I imagine they're getting close to something. They're getting close to something, right? They wouldn't be putting videos out like this on YouTube if they didn't have this kind of information. Let's see what Valdez is saying. Darren Stephens from Bewitched. Stephen Stearns cut a deal. What, babies? Hold on a minute, folks. What? You already ate. You already ate food. Now you lay down. I'll give you a treat here pretty soon. I just fed you at 5:30, 6 o'clock. All right, here she comes, walking through everything. All right, go on. No, don't jump. All right. You sit down there, then. You sit next to me here. Go on. Ah, it's just crazy, Debbie. Now, here goes Valdez talking about Bewitched, right? Darin from Bewitched or whatever. Which, that was a, what? What? You're going to knock everything over. Come on. You want to be picked up? Come on. Come on. Then quit jumping up on me. Either you want to come up on the couch or you want to lay down on the thing. Whatever. Which one? I can't hear you. What? What? I can't hear you. All right, I heard you. No, I'm not feeding you again today because you just got done eating shortly. I'll give you a snack or something, dog. But other than that, yeah, I imagine they got. Debbie, what do you think? Valdez, what do you think? You think Darren had anything to do with it? What do you guys think? Debbie, what's your intake on this? Valdez, what do you think? No, this ain't a spin off of Bewitched. So don't even try using your bewitching powers to solve this case. We don't know who Darren is, so we ain't just speculating. Well, we don't know either who he is, right? He could be the most wanted county mountie, Canada mountie, whatever I don't know. He could be a drug dealer. He could be a smuggler. Human, maybe. We don't know. Debbie's right about that. We don't know. Hold on a minute so I can get this dog a treat. You don't know? Do you guys know anything? Do you know anything? Anything? Debbie's got a headache, so she needs to talk to Dr. G. Uh, I refuse to be part of some third party thing or something. But, anyways, yeah, this is very fishy. To me, it's very fishy.
Premises. And just 7 minutes ago, internal chatter confirmed it. RCMP is preparing to move. An arrest is imminent. But here's what this case really tells us, and why so many are watching. We live in an age where anyone can become a public figure overnight, where social media gives power, even to those who don't deserve it. And sometimes the loudest voices are just a distraction from the truth hiding underneath. If these charges stick, Darren Geddes may go from live streaming theories to answering questions under oath. But the question that still haunts us all remains: where are Lily and Jack? Because while this investigation may be closing in on its most vocal suspect, the search for the children is far from over. And no matter how loud the lies get, the truth always finds a way. If you
Wow. Very interesting. I am going upstairs to look this dude up. What are you going to be doing upstairs? Is my question. Debbie, what's this other one? This other video 5 minutes ago. Blanket clues found. Oh, they must have found some blankets, huh? Were them the things that were on the side of the road people said they found? That were matching the girls' bed? Let me see. Let me hold on a minute. Let me see what Debbie posted in chat. Let me see what's going on. My mod's checking into some stuff. True crime doc. Yeah, that's I already posted his thing in chat and in description, I do believe, Debbie. 5 minutes ago, blankets clues found. This was 15 hours ago.
Go outside on their own. We always make sure that we're out there with them.
The mystery around the missing Sullivan children has taken another twist. 6-year-old Lily and 4-year-old Jack vanished on May 2, 2025, from their quiet rural home in Nova Scotia. For weeks, people have searched the woods, combed through trails, and begged for answers. But now there's a new clue. RCMP officers have revealed that a pink blanket, believed to belong to Lily, might hold the key to what happened. Half of this blanket was found caught high in a tree near an ATV trail, just off Lansdowne Road. The other half, it was found in the trash back at the Sullivan home, the same home where Lily and Jack were last seen. This is big, because this blanket was...
Oh, wow. So they found a pink blanket. Half of it was up in a tree on a ATV trail, and the other half was in the garbage at the house. Debbie says we're going to have to watch this closely, very closely. Her stepdad has how many ATVs exactly? Wow.
wasn't just any blanket. It had once been used to cover a broken window in the house. But then it disappeared just like the kids. RCMP forensics teams are now analyzing the fabric for DNA, fingerprints, and anything else it might carry. If there's even a tiny trace of blood, hair, or skin, it could change everything. It could lead them straight to whoever...
All right, let's take a look at these folks' face. Why does Darin always look like he's like something's up? Don't he? He's always got that look out of the corner of his eyes, or I don't know. Maybe he's perfectly innocent, and he just said the wrong things at the wrong time, and got himself wrapped up into it. Yeah, this right here is Darin. This guy right here that's looking at you right now, that's Darin.
Was with the kids when they vanished. According to a family member, the tree where the blanket was found is along a trail that locals use for ATVs, four-wheelers that travel deep into the woods. It's not a place most people go unless they know the area well. That means whoever left that blanket there might have known exactly where they were going. But here's what's even stranger. No one knows how it got up in the tree. It didn't just fall. It didn't blow there in the wind. It was stuck in a way that makes people wonder, was someone trying to hide it? Now people are asking, was this blanket planted? Or was it dropped during a struggle? Could someone have carried the kids into the woods and left the trail behind without?
Well, why would they put a pink blanket in a tree? I mean, you're going to see that, obviously. His name is Daniel. Oh, Darin's the other father, right? The bank robber, right? Daniel is the one that was with the tap T-shirt, but I think they're saying the one with the tap with the T-shirt or whatever is the one that was calling and they were watching.
Without realizing they left behind the most important piece of evidence? The RCMP haven't made any arrests, but they have confirmed they're taking this clue very seriously. The forensic testing could take weeks, but they're hoping it will finally give them what they've been searching for, the truth. In the meantime, the community waits. Parents hold their kids a little closer. And everyone is wondering, if the blanket was found there, where are Lily and Jack? As investigators continue testing the pink blanket, the Sullivan family is left in a painful silence. Days are passing, then weeks, and still, no Lily, no Jack. Their mother, Emily Sullivan, hasn't spoken much to the media, but close friends say she barely eats, she barely sleeps. She walks around the house hoping to hear a laugh, a footstep, anything.
Okay, so this guy standing here with the tap out shirt, is this the guy they're looking at, Debbie? As the one that was in that area? No? Then why, when they say they're talking, why ain't they showing Darin's face then instead of Daniel's? Is my question. When they're talking about this, they're and they're putting up his face. Well, I would be pissed about that. Be like, hey, because to me, watching these videos, they're focused on this guy. They're focused on this guy, right? I don't know. It's kind of crazy. The real dad's name is Cody. I don't know. Who knows these people? The story changes every day.
People in the small Nova Scotia town are also growing more worried. What started as a missing children case is beginning to feel like something much darker. A neighbor who lives near the Sullivan home told reporters, "Something doesn't feel right. I see the RCMP out there, I see them collecting things. But I think they know more than they're saying." In fact, just 2 days ago, officers were spotted talking to neighbors again and collecting home security camera footage. One neighbor said the RCMP were especially interested in footage from the night of May 1st, the night before the children were reported missing. Why? Because something may have happened that night. Something no one has talked about. Some neighbors said they heard shouting that evening. Others say they saw strange lights deep in the woods behind the Sullivan property. But so far, no one has been able to confirm anything. The police aren't releasing.
And that kind of sounds like maybe they did take the kids and took the four-wheelers or whatever, or whoever took the kids had four-wheelers. That would explain the lights that they seen behind the house on the trails or whatever out there. The guy they're looking at was actually the guy who lived in the neighborhood. Oh, I thought they were looking at the father that was a bank robber or something like that. And then I thought they were looking at the stepfather, which was Darin or whatever one it is. But from what I can see, what they're this from this video, if it's true, something fishy was going on, and these people probably are are trying to come up with stories to try and get their butt out of what really happened. But well, all we could do is hope that these kids are still alive and this was some kind of a grab for money or some kind of a custody battle. And the kids are okay, we're hoping. Well, adorable kids. We hope they're okay, and we hope
The
we get
footage.
to the bottom.
They aren't saying what they saw. People online have started to ask, was there someone else involved? Was someone watching the house? Could this be more than just a simple disappearance? The pink blanket is the biggest clue yet, but it's only part of the story. More and more people believe there are secrets surrounding this case. And those secrets may be the reason Lily and Jack are still missing. Let's go back to the night of May 1st. It was a cool, quiet night in rural Nova Scotia. The Sullivan house sits far from the main road, surrounded by thick trees and rough trails. It's peaceful, or at least it used to be. At 9:48 p.m., according to the family, Lily and Jack were tucked into bed. Emily says she locked the doors, turned off the lights, and went to bed around 10. But by morning, both kids were gone. No signs of a break-in. No footprints. No tire tracks on the dirt road.
Yeah, this was what fishy. Didn't they have the dogs out there, and the dogs didn't pick up on anything? And when this case first broke and all this came out, weren't they saying that it's possible the kids weren't even there that night, and the whole story was a lie? To me, we won't know till they have all the facts. Well, that's true. That is true. But a lot of this stuff has already been put out. And I know they had dogs out there and everything. I could have swore I seen a video where they had dogs, but they couldn't pick up on anything. And then they were questioning if the kids were even there that night. You know, that this was all happening. And now the neighbors are saying there was lights behind the house and uh, four-wheelers on a, blanket on a four-wheeler, trail in a tree. So it seems they're probably getting they're putting the dots together.
Nothing. Emily says she woke up just after 7 a.m. She walked into the kids' room and they were gone. Just gone. At first, the police treated it as a possible runaway case. But Lily is just 6 years old. Jack is 4. They couldn't run far on their own, and not without someone seeing them. That's why attention quickly turned to the area surrounding the house, especially the woods. Search teams came out. Drones flew over the trees. Dogs sniffed through every trail. Helicopters circled the forest. But after days of searching, nothing. And then came the blanket. It was
Wow. So they bring out the search teams, drones, dogs. They got nothing. Right. And that's where the rumor came from, or the speculation that the kids were not there that night. And it very well could be that they weren't there. They were somewhere else. And we don't know. Why? Because you're going off of just hearsay until they have footage of hey, well, they're the two kids and they were there, or eyewitnesses that the kids were there that day. Let's see what Debbie's saying. We do have to remember that they are not going to release important things. They're underage. Yes, they're minors. So they might not report. They might, but it's 2025, Debbie. So we're finding that there's stuff being released about people that are minors uh, and committing crimes on YouTube all the time that are minors. But like I said, when I was growing up, there was a law that protected the minors, uh, underage kids, right? You weren't allowed to put them in the paper. You weren't allowed to talk about them on the news. If you were underage, they would say an underage minor was picked up and for yada yada. They weren't allowed to use your name or anything, and that's changed now over the years. Also, nobody knows for sure. Yeah, we don't we don't know. Let me tell you something though. If you're gonna do something bad, that's probably a great place to do it. Why? Because there ain't nobody around. It's all woods, right? So maybe they just thought they wouldn't. Maybe something did happen horribly, and they just thought there ain't nobody around and there ain't nobody gonna see nothing, and and that's why they did what they did. Hold on, I gotta check my pizza. All right. It's okay. I know how you get when you have a headache. I know exactly what you need. Drink some water and
It's found by a group of volunteers walking near an old ATV trail. The trail isn't often used and it's covered with brush. That makes it strange, because how would something like a blanket get caught in a tree way out there? And even more strange, why was the other half of the same blanket found in the family's trash can? That's when everything changed. RCMP announced they were now treating this as a criminal investigation. But they didn't say why. They didn't name any suspects. They didn't make any arrests. And the public? They're left with questions. Lots of questions. Who placed the blanket there? Was it planted? Is someone trying to lead the police in the wrong direction? The town of Pictou County is quiet, but the fear is growing louder. People are locking their doors, watching their cameras, and wondering if the person who took those kids could still be out there. And now everyone wants
He
answers.
could still be
As
out there.
days pass and no one is arrested, people online are asking tough questions. Some even believe someone close to the family might know more than they're saying. A man who volunteers with local search groups said, asterisk, it doesn't sit right with me. That blanket, that trail, the silence from officials, it's like someone is hiding something. Asterisk. Others point to strange behavior. One neighbor, who asked to stay anonymous, said that in the days after the children disappeared, they noticed someone coming and going from the Sullivan home, late at night. Not the parents, not family, but someone else. The RCMP haven't commented on this, but they have returned to the neighborhood, again and again. According to locals, they've gone door to door at least 3 separate times in the last 2 weeks. They've asked people for home camera footage. They've asked about visitors. And most of all, they've asked about sounds. One woman told a reporter, asterisk, they asked me if I heard a vehicle, maybe a quad bike or something loud like a truck, around midnight. Asterisk, why would they ask that? Because the ATV trail where the blanket was found is hard to reach. A regular car wouldn't get there easily. You need a dirt bike, a quad, a truck with big tires. And if someone drove back there at night, it would have made noise, loud noise, and someone did hear something. A man who lives half a mile from the trail told a Facebook group, asterisk, I heard what sounded like an engine struggling through brush. I didn't think anything of it until I saw the news. Asterisk, could that have been the moment the blanket was planted? Could that have been when Lily and Jack were taken? No one knows yet, or maybe someone does but isn't talking. The pressure is now on the RCMP.
Wow. Yeah, so now it's all coming unglued. Hmm. Daniel said he was walking in waist deep water. Listen, they had huge rains with floods also, so that blanket could have washed there. Well, it was up in the tree, Debbie. It wasn't on the ground, it was up in a tree. Now, I can see maybe that if they had a tornado and the blanket blew away, right? But what's the other half of the blanket? It was in one of their windows. How did it get there? Well, if someone did kidnap the kids and they went through the window and got wrapped up in the blanket and it ripped or whatever, and they took the kids from there, they might have got rid of the blanket on the way to this destination with the kids or whatever. But Debbie, you said something in my chat. You said the mother's family has a bunch of four wheelers. Well, if it was flooding there, why ain't the house flooded? These trails are right behind his house. They used it as a window covering instead of curtains. Yeah, I know. So if there was a tornado, then I can believe, well, the windows blew out and it ripped the blanket and it sucked the blanket, half of the blanket up, and the other half of the blanket stayed in the house. But that's not where they found the other half of the blanket. They found it in a garbage can. Well, that's kind of weird, right? That's kind of weird. I'd be asking the families, well, what is that blanket doing? And if it was covering your windows, who threw it in the garbage? They do have a bunch of four wheelers, but they don't store them there on their property. It's back in a little ways where the store, the ATVs like a different property, yeah. But it's close to the house, ain't it? It's close to where the kids were. Debbie Sophie is sitting here watching me eat this pizza. I know. I know she wants a little piece of it. I know this. But if you don't say anything, a tiny piece might fall off of this paper plate and land on the floor. But I didn't see anything. But she's looking at me like, please. See, when I used to babysit her, uh, when she was younger, we used to sit here and eat together, right? If I had chicken strips, I'd give her some chicken strips. If I had biscuits and gravy, I'd give her a little bit of biscuits and gravy. But the parents, the owners were like, you can't do it no more. She's right, 700 pounds and she's just a Yorkie. I need a wheelbarrow to get her around the house. I love her though. They're not supposed to have pizza because dogs are not supposed to eat bread, I don't think. Or maybe that's chocolate.
Social media is buzzing with hashtags like hashtag find Lily and Jack, hashtag RCMP where are the answers, hashtag justice for the Sullivans. People want transparency. They want the RCMP to release more footage, to reveal more findings, and more importantly, they want to believe the kids are still alive. As of now, there is no official suspect, no arrest, and no confirmed sighting of Lily or Jack. But there is hope. The RCMP have confirmed they're reviewing hours of new footage from homes, stores, and even trail cams near the ATV path. They're also working with forensic teams to test both halves of that pink blanket, looking for fingerprints, hair, or even tiny fibers that could match a vehicle or suspect. Behind the scenes, something is happening,
Oh, look
and
at
the
them with
public
their
feels
hats
it.
turned back.
More officers, more interviews, more silence from police, which usually means one thing. They're getting close. For now, all we can do is watch, wait, and not forget. Lily is 6. She loves rainbows, unicorns, and her pink stuffed bear. Jack is just 4. He's shy, always clinging to his sister's side and loves toy trucks. If you know anything, even the smallest detail, please speak up, because someone knows where they are. And
They're not supposed to have chocolate. Well, oh, these two poor little kids. Did you see them with their hats turned backwards? Oh, dang it. I just dropped a small piece of pizza on the floor right on my shoe. I mean, right on my shoe. Oh, dang it. No, Sophie. Oh, dang it, Debbie. She got the small piece of pizza I just dropped accidentally on the floor. Dang it. I'm not. I should have pushed her away, but I wasn't fast enough. She's just too fast. No, sweetie, that's all I'm giving you right now. I'm not dropping no more of this pizza. that crushed red pepper I put on this. It's pretty spicy. So, Deb, what do you think? How come they're pointing? They're looking at the mother and that one guy. I think there's something up, something fishy going on. Like I said, either this was. I know, Debbie. I accidentally dropped it. It was a small piece of pizza accident. You didn't see anything. If the parents ask or the owners ask, I didn't feed them nothing. It was an accident. Well, I'm not fast enough for her. Although she's short and a little chunky, she's very nimble, and it was pretty much gone before it even hit the ground. But what was I going to say? Oh, I have a feeling something's up with this whole case. Where this might have been a maybe some kind of a custody thing, maybe with the ex husband or a jealous thing with the other guy, right? Maybe he's seen an opportunity. One of these people seen an opportunity to make some money and maybe took it, or maybe did something worse, trafficked the kids or something right underneath their nose and tried to make it like it was someone else because maybe one of them knew that one of these parents had a bad history, and because he had a bad history on record, now there's your guy, right? Maybe. I mean, we're only speculating here. Someone might have seen an opportunity because a couple of these people might have been in bad situations or something and did something. We don't know. Debbie, so I bought a box of these pizzas, Elios pizza, and it's like a box. It's like square pieces of pizza. And they're literally like the square pieces of pizza we used to get in high school, grammar school, when we'd eat lunch. You get them square pieces of pizza. That's what these are like. Brings me back to high school days. And this tastes better than the high school one. So, Debbie, would it be safe to say that there might have been some shenanigans going on within the family before the kids came up missing? That there might have been a custody battle or a grudge within the family, or maybe with an ex-lover? Folks, make sure you get some Uncle Ray's hot flavored potato chips for a big bag of Uncle Ray's. They're on sale at Miller's for $1.87. I got me a big bag. They're spicy too, really hot. Uncle Ray's. That's Uncle Ray's hot flavored potato chips, and you ain't getting none of these. Be crapping all over my place. No, I gotta watch everything earlier. So, what are we thinking, Debbie? What is your spidey senses coming up with? Oh God, excuse me. What's going on with your spidey senses? I love high school pizza. Debbie, you remember the square pieces of pizza we get in high school and grammar school? Remember them? That's what these are like. But these are like a little bit bigger. They're pretty big square slices. Uh, and they don't taste too bad. Brings me back to high school pizza. don't care what anybody says. I grew up in the outskirts of Chicago. I think Chicago's seen the best pizza in the 1970s when I was growing up and early 80s was the best pizza in Orland Park, Tinley Park, surrounding suburbs of Chicago. Pete's Pizza. Little Italian. What was that one pizza place out there? The pizza was just superb back in the 70s. Much like the cocaine that was in Chicago at that time, the pizza was excellent. And the cocaine was Pablo Escobar's cocaine, so that was pure 100% ether based cocaine. But in Chicago, we had the best pizza. They had the best cocaine. We had the best pizza in the 70s. Debbie says no. I think it was some lunatic. Well, there'd be evidence of that. There'd be evidence of the kids leaving. There'd be a scent. There'd be a scent from the kids. I'll tell you what, some of the best pizza in Chicago is mom and pop places. I still think probably it was a grab for money. If the kids were in that house and they have a dog and the kids were there when they went to sleep and then mysteriously they woke up and the kids were gone, you would have had to known that house and you would have had to get through the dog. And I think there's something mixed up with the times they went to bed. They were saying they were in bed by midnight or whatever and sleeping and everything was locked down. Well, how did someone get in and out without no one hearing nothing? Debbie still thinks it was a lunatic. Excuse me. You do realize the stepdad is Daniel, the dad is Cody. Well, who's Daryl? Or Darin? Who's Darin? Okay, here, Debbie, you tell me. Ah! All right, smarty pants. Who's this? Who's that guy? Who is that guy? That's Daniel. Okay, hold on. Okay, hold on a minute.
Melissa Scott's trail cameras might contain clues about the disappearance of Lily and
So Darin Geddes is the kid's biological father, right?
Jack Sullivan. RCMP asked her for days of footage as the investigation into the missing children approaches the 3-week mark.
It's scary, especially not knowing what happens. We definitely keep our kids a little closer to home now.
Just 7 minutes ago, the RCMP quietly approved a warrant, a silent move that could unravel one of the most haunting mysteries in recent Canadian history. The case of Lily and Jack Sullivan. 2 innocent children missing without a trace. And for months, the nation has watched in confusion, anger, and disbelief. But something changed. And it all points to one man, Darin Geddes. You may know him from social media, loud, erratic, and often playing the role of a self-proclaimed truth-teller. But
Okay. So they're saying this guy right here that they're showing has been on social media and is a truth teller and all this. This guy right here, his name, they just said is Darin. And that's what it is. Let's replay it and listen again.
but something changed. And it all points to one man, Darin Geddes. You may know him from social media, loud, erratic, and often playing the role of a self-proclaimed truth-teller. But now, investigators are seeing him in a much darker light.
Darin, Darin Getty. Good God Almighty! I hope he ain't related to. No, that's Geddy Lee. Thank God Geddy Lee's last name is Lee. But there is no picture of Darin Geddes. Now, Darin Geddes, then I take it, is the bank robber, right? He's the one that they were talking about that robbed the bank or was a robber. Well, who was the bank robber that was the kid's father? I don't think Cody was in the other case, the Delphi case. There's a Cody. I don't think there's a Cody in this. In this case, that was the Delphi case.
For the first time, insiders say RCMP intelligence units are linking Geddes to potential obstruction, misleading the public, and something far more serious.
Okay, so they're saying that they're charging the Gettys with misleading the public and or uh, messing with a case. And them are the only two people, Deborah, that have been on social media talking. Is the one guy that's in this video and the mother. So they must be looking at that. Or I thought, I know there was in the beginning of this case, I watched a video where they said that the real father of the kids or something was a bank robber or a robber or something like that and had a history of jail or whatever. And that's why they didn't want him to come out, you know. But maybe you're right. Maybe his name is Cody. You might be right. Maybe, probably. I'm guessing probably, but it goes back to they're not interested in Cody. Uh, they're interested in the mother and this guy that's been on social media talking about it. Why do you keep saying that name is Cody? I don't know. I'm not worried about it, little lady. We did watch it. They didn't talk
Interfering with an
about
active
Cody.
investigation. What triggered the shift? It started with a single anonymous email, flagged by the RCMP's Cyber Crimes Division just 5 days ago. The message didn't come with threats. It didn't offer theories. It came with files. Audio, images, screenshots, GPS pings. And all of it, according to one source close to the investigation, pointed to a deliberate effort to mislead. We believe
Yeah, this
someone
whole
wanted to
story was
control the
misleading
narrative.
with all these people thrown into it and everything. I think they're on the right track. It had something to do with the family. Ain't they looking for another guy out there in Canada, Travis something or Trivix or Travis something from another case or something? But you might be right, Debbie, about that. Let's see. The guy they are looking at is a neighbor of of Jack and Lily. So they were a neighbor. The guy they're looking at, is now the neighbor of where these people lived, right? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Who knows? Oh my God, I know. Who knows? I don't think any of us will know till they bring them all in and question them. And that's the only thing really to do is bring them all in. And you know something suspicious is going on, and you've already caught these people in lies. Uh, they caught all three of them in lies, and it could have been something like that, or it could have been, like I said, a custody battle. And like I said, the kids always end up suffering, right? They're always in the middle of it. But Debbie insists that some sicko might have taken them. But I don't. How do you get in a house? How do you not hear the kids screaming? There was other people in. There's a couple trailers or houses on that property that someone said they were there that morning and they heard a scream, but they didn't think anything of it because that's how one of the kids was when they got excited. They would start screaming or being loud or whatever. Um, so the whole story ain't it just ain't jiving. It don't make sense. How do you lock the doors and you put your kids to bed and you wake up in the morning and there's no forced entry? The police were there. They searched the whole place. They got no trail, no scent, and you got two missing kids. It don't make sense. It's like the Summer Wells case. I don't know. She was here one minute, and then next minute she was just gone. Yeah, the real dad's never been in their lives, but they're not interested in the real dad. They're more focused on these people that have been on social media, the ones that they've already caught in probably lies on social media and then behind the scenes. Morning, not mortgage. They had the kids in the They said they seen both. Oh, in the morning. Morning, not mortgage. Who knows? In the morning, you mistyped. Okay. I hear you. I hear you. You keep saying it was custody. Well, they had custody of the kids, right? The real father didn't have custody of the kids because he was a bad boy, right? So the mother that you're looking at right now, this Hello Kitty girl or lady, she's the mother, right? She had custody of the kids, right? The real biological father didn't have custody of the kids because they claimed he was a bad boy and he was in prison or something, or he had a record or something. The real dad didn't want to have it, nothing to do with the kids and still doesn't. Well, I have no idea. I have no idea what. So the real dad is out of it. So they're not interested in the real father. They're interested in them two idiots. I wonder why. I wonder why. Yeah. Then we're seeing this a lot in America. More devious crap, right? A grab for the money, or just jealous people, or who knows? They're saying the guy that's wearing the tap out shirts or whatever, is some kind of a fighter or something. Was he fighting with the kids, play fighting, and hurt them? Who knows? Excuse me. My question is how do you put two kids to bed? You lock the doors. You got dogs around there and everything, and and the next morning you wake up, your kids are gone, and there's no force entry. Where'd the kids go? There's only two options there. Either somebody had a key to the place and they walked right in and took them, and they would have had to known the dogs in that area or at the house. Uh, and how do you just walk in? No one sees nothing, hears nothing, and you walk out and you lock the door behind you. And there's no forced entry, no scent picked up of the kids leaving or going in. That's why a lot of people in the beginning of this case were questioning, which I was questioning in some chats, were the kids even there? Was the whole dang thing a story? Right? Because you don't go to bed, you don't put two kids to bed in a bedroom. You lock all your doors and everything, and you go to bed, and the next morning you wake up and the kids mysteriously disappear. All the doors are locked, no one came in, and they're just gone. They're just gone. Well, then they must have went in through a window. That would explain the blanket on the four-wheel on the ATV trail behind the house. But that ATV trail, where does it lead to? Don't it lead to a family member's house? Oh, come on. Don't it lead to someone's house, a neighbor's or something like that? Don't you think they would have questioned that neighbor? I mean, Debbie did say that the family had four-wheelers. I just told you they see. Let me see what Debbie's saying. They seen the kids in the morning. They both came in the room, and they both were dressed. So yeah. So they seen the kids in the morning, and the kids just disappeared. So the story has already changed because in the beginning of this case, they said they woke up and the kids were gone. They put the kids to bed. They woke up. The kids were gone. And now it's changed to, well, they did see the kids that morning, but they disappeared. It's just, the whole thing is changing. And then you remember the video that was put out that there was clothes found down the road on the side of the road. And they're thinking they belong to the kids, right? They might belong to the kids. Well, how's all this happen? And you don't see nothing or hear nothing? I don't know. I don't know. You would hear a car pulling up. I mean, it's not like the house is right off the street, right? You got to drive back there pretty far to get to that house where the kids were. You'd hear a car driving up or something. You hear the dogs barking or something, vehicle pulling up, a stranger pulling up. Whoever was on that property must have known the property and possibly the family somehow. That's what I don't understand is how are the kids on your property? It reminds me of that UPS driver that kidnapped that kid. He was delivering a package at the kid's house, at that little girl's house, and the little girl came up missing. And they went back and looked at the camera, and they found that the UPS driver took that little girl. You remember that case, Debbie, where they found the little girl strangled and everything, and they went ahead and looked at the camera, and the girl's there 1 second, and she's gone the next. And there goes the UPS truck or Federal Express truck or whatever. And it turns out the Federal Express driver or whatever was some kind of a sicko. It's pretty crazy. No, that never changed. That's always been the same. I don't think so. I think in the beginning of this case, they said they put the kids to sleep and everything was fine. They woke up the next morning and they heard a dog bark or someone scream. But now it's changed. They keep changing stuff. The story ain't adding up, probably. It just ain't adding up. That's why they're probably not looking at anybody but these people within the family or whatever. Something was going on. Somebody doing something, right? And if it was the neighbor that took them, don't you think they would have tore that neighbor's house up? Right? Because that four-wheeler trail led right to that house. Don't you think the police, oh, we got a blanket here. Oh, wait, we got we got a blanket in the house, in the garbage at the house. Right? We got a blanket on the four-wheeler trail. Right? We want to search that house right there where this trail leads right to. I remember that in the UPS driver did that or took her. Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, it was crazy. Dang UPS driver or FedEx driver, whatever it was. She was out there playing in the yard. The guy pulls in the driveway. The dogs go crazy and you see him pull in the driveway. And then and you see her out there running by, and then boom, she's gone. No one knew nothing. And they did a pretty good job. That was in Texas, I believe, wasn't it? I think that was down in Texas or something, or Oklahoma or what. They did a good job because they had people on it. They were looking all around, but unfortunately, it was too late, I think. Daniel's gonna be, or them both, to be quiet so they don't wake the baby. Yeah, maybe something was like that. Maybe they knew the people. Maybe the kids knew them. Because if the kids didn't know them, don't you think they would scream if a stranger came into our house? or on the property and was trying to take them. And you'd have to be pretty quick. You'd hear a four-wheeler taking off with your kids or a truck. But see, the dots are connecting that. No, it didn't happen that morning. It was midnight. They're saying it was midnight, and they seen lights behind the house, and what sounded like either a four-wheeler or a truck at midnight. Right, midnight before the kids came up missing. So the story ain't adding up. How if this? I'm telling you, that's probably what it is. The stories ain't something ain't right. How could they see the kids that morning and they just disappear and no one hears anything? But the night before at midnight, they heard a bunch of ruckus or seen lights in the woods and what sounded like a truck or something. It don't add up. And then they threw that poor little baby in the ditch. Yes, I know, Debbie. That was a real sicko. And how did he even get hired? How did he even get? I don't know. That's pretty crazy if you ask me. All right, we're at 1 hour and 30 minutes. I think I'm going to end this. Debbie, we'll talk more. Little Debbie's got a headache today. Little lady, I know she needs a. I know when she's got a headache, she's got a headache. She needs a certain thing and to take her mind off of that headache. And I know it's drink plenty of water. You might be dehydrated because it's been so hot, and take a couple aspirins. Let me know how you feel. All right, you folks have. Let me see. Oh, she just posted something again. No, the mom said that those kids would talk to anybody, even strangers. Well, that ain't good. That ain't good. I know there's a house on that property and a trailer. And there was a woman there that morning that said she heard the kids or something, or didn't see the kids or something like that. I'm not sure. But you know what? It's so close. And this is a recent case, right? A lot of time hasn't gone. If they solve this one, it'll be pretty fast. A lot of time has not gone by. So that's pretty good. Let's see. This was also a school day, and the kids really like going to school. So they could have gotten dressed and went up to the road, and there was no school, and somebody took them. Yeah, that's true. It could have been, but we have to find out why that lady that was living in that trailer on the property. I could have swore, unless I got another case mixed up with it. Waiting, and their school bus stopped and took their. Well, they're so young. Did they get dry? They were probably in kindergarten or something. Did the bus even come to get them, being so young, or did they have to drive the kids to school? Being that young of kids, one of them was only in school, right? Not both of them. I'm not sure. I might be wrong. No, you're right about that. You might be right about that, little lady. Boy, I think your headache is gone. I think you're feeling better. You're really talkative now, so I think you're feeling a little bit better. All right. I think I'm going to end this video. Not unless Miss Debbie has anything more she wants to talk about. Miss Debbie, you want to talk about anything more? Is there anything else you want to talk about on this case? I think you know it sounds fishy too. Oh, she was one of the neighbors too. Yes, but they said that there was no activity that morning. It was the activity that they seen and heard was around midnight or before midnight or somewhere around midnight. They heard and seen lights and heard vehicles driving around out there. So it was actually before that morning because she said that she didn't see anything that morning. But the night before or that night, right? Midnight or whatever, that she seen lights and stuff driving around in the back trails behind the Sullivan's house. So that don't make sense, right? Because she didn't see anything during the day, but the night before the girls or the kids came up missing, she seen activity. She seen one of the people that lived in that house come out of the house with 2 duffel bags. Debbie, that's what she said. She said she seen Darin or Daryl or whoever it was, Daniel, whoever, came out of the house with 2 duffel bags and went to his car and always looked around like wanting was worried about someone seeing him. You're good. Oh, that's good. That's good. That's good. All right, we are going to end this video unless you have anything else you want to talk about this case with Debbie. No, you're good. All right. You have a good night. I'll be back with something else. I think the sun's going. The sun came out. Debbie said she used to babysit for 8 kids. 8 kids, I'd be pulling my hair out. All right. Anything else you want to know about? We're talking about the Jack and Lily Sullivan case. Call. I'm eating some pizza. I'm babysitting a dog. And that's about it. Oh, he told the kids to be quiet so they didn't wake up the baby's sister. Ah. Yeah. Johnny Daniel said out of his mouth on one of those recordings that he saw both of those kids that morning and told them both to be quiet. That's kind of weird. The baby sister was, the baby was sleeping. So he seen them that morning and told them to be quiet, not to wake up the baby. I don't know. Something just seems weird. Yes, Darin, the neighbor. I don't know. I don't know. Kel, what do you think? I think Kelt is young blood. Yeah, young blood. He wears a coat. He loves dogs too, and animals. I think. I was watching one of his concerts today. Youngblood, that kid from London or whatever. The kid's got talent. The kid's got talent. Not following the case, just leaving from you guys or learning from you guys. Uh, well, here's the thing: the story's changed a couple times. Uh, they're looking at the family and the situation around the family, and they have data now back from the family, phone records and everything, even from the biological father and everyone around there. And they're finding flaws in the stories of social media that these guys were on, this family, and also now behind the scenes, they're finding stuff. So it seems like I don't. All I can say is maybe, hopefully, the kids are still alive. Maybe something else was going on and they got rid of the kids or something, or drugs maybe. I don't know about there. I've seen a video where they were saying one of them was a druggie or something, or on drugs, but they haven't found the kids. No, they haven't found the kids. And here's what's crazy: they had drones out there and dogs, but were they cadaver dogs? Is my question. And if the dogs and the drones and the dogs and all the people that were out there searching didn't get any scent at all of what direction them kids went, uh, I don't know. And I think Debbie in the last video that we did on this case said that it was raining out there and flooding in certain areas. So the rain might have washed away the scent a little bit, but these dogs today are so good. Even if it rains, they can pick up a scent. Even if somebody crosses the water, meaning if there was a creek there and you walked through it thinking that the dog would not catch your smell, they're saying that's a lie. Dogs can smell on top of water or in water. It's crazy. I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, this is. They can sense if a body is in water. They can smell it in the water. So they were saying that's not true. They can track people through creeks and stuff. Maybe inside something like the dad that put his kids in the oil container. Watt, or what was it? Yeah, Chris Watts. Yeah. A lot of people are saying now new information came out on that. Nikki was involved. Saying Nikki knew about it or something. Did she know about it, or did she take part in it? is my question. There's one thing about knowing about something, but did she literally take part in it, of dispensing of the girls or carrying the body of the mother or anything like that? They did say that she, when all this went down with Chris and she found out, that she dumped all of her, she reset her phone or whatever, dumped all of her stuff on her phone. Oh, we got a bird, Debbie. And it's kind of late, but we got a bird. Debbie says they're looking at the neighbors down the road. Good. Good. Can you imagine living around something like that? You just, you don't know. All right, I think I'm going to end this video. I think we've covered enough on this and so much more. Debbie wants to know if we can find summer wells. No, I think the answer lies within that family too. Big old Cout's heading to the gym. Heading to the gym. Well, be safe. God bless. I'm going to end this video. You folks have a great night. Be safe. I'll be back later unless emergency pops up or something dramatic happens. Then I'll be back to cover it. But I would be expecting a rest here pretty soon up in Canada. And I think you folks probably will be shocked of what really's going on. You folks have a good night. God bless and talk to you later. Oh, turn yourselves in. You're not doing any good on the run. Think of your families. Have a good night.